Hello everyone, welcome back. This is cost benefit analysis chapter in public finance. This is part 4. In this part, we will continue valuing the benefits of a highway construction project. We have been working on this example, all these parts. So we talked about the costs of the project of highway construction in part 2. In part 3, we started talking about benefits. Two major benefits were time saved during driving, right, with a safer highway. The second benefit was the saved lives of people. So let's talk about how we value the human life, okay? Valuing saved lives is the second benefit of a highway public project. So highway improvement will yield saved lives due to lower traffic fatalities. So valuing life runs into ethical issues. Some people are like, human life is priceless, we have this body and soul, you cannot put a value in it. That is correct. However, whenever there is a wrongful death lawsuit and the family of the deceased sues a company, you need to put a value to the lost life, unfortunately. Or whenever we are calculating the benefits of a highway that will prevent 5-10 fatalities, then we need to have a measure to value human life. Economists would agree that it's necessary. So even though there are ethical issues, some people think, from religious point of view, they might think human life is priceless, correct? But economists say that it's necessary for public policy decisions for us to value human life, okay? Long story short, let's get back. So saying life is priceless should not be valued. We are basically putting ourselves in a helpless situation, facing choices of different programs that could actually save lots of lives. So there are three main approaches on saving lives: using wages, just like in the previous part, contingent valuation, and revealed preference. So valuing life, an example, in 1993, consumer groups demanded that General Motors recall 5 million pickup trucks. Side-mounted gas tanks made them more likely to explode on impact. So it caused 150 deaths over 15 years. So this was a repeating issue. Okay, recall would cost General Motors $1 billion and save at most 32 more lives. So this would cost the company 31.25. So divide 1 billion with 32, $31.25 million per life saved. Okay, General Motors reached a different settlement to provide $50 million for education about seatbelts, about drunk driving, and provide 200,000 child safety seats for low-income families. So this settlement was called the most unprecedented buyout of law enforcement officials by a culpable corporation in our regulation history, by Ralph Nader. Yet the child safety seats alone would save 50 lives, which at the cost would be $50 million. So cost per life saved at just $1 million. So this is, economists would say, far more cost effective than $31.25 million per life saved from the recall. Okay, so the settlement was much better in terms of the cost per life saved return. And it's only possible because of government valued life in terms of how can we actually save more lives at a more cost efficient level. My opinion in this case would be normative economics. In this class, we don't do that. I don't try to impose my opinions. We do positive economics, which is stating facts. Per life saved, it's cheaper this way. Okay, so another application is valuing life. This is the United Kingdom rail companies. In October 1999, long time ago, a commuter train crash at London's Paddington station killed 31 people. So, of course, British public, they were outraged and they demanded more investment in rail safety. Safety advocates proposed measures that could cost $3 billion to $9 billion. That would save 1 to 3 lives per year for 30-50 years. Okay, at best the cost is $20 million per life saved. At worst, $300 million per life saved. Many more Britons are killed on the roads than on rails, so that implementing the government safety standards on roadways would save more lives at the only cost of $2 million per life saved. So government didn't commit to installing expensive rail safety system. So governments do look at the cost per life saved measures as well. Let's talk about different approaches to actually value the life of a human being. First one is the market-based approach using wages. So we look at the value of life, we equalize it to the present discounted value of the lifetime stream of earnings. So there's an issue, however, Keeler said that this approach doesn't value leisure. So worker under 50 spends 10-20% of their time at work, right? 8 hours. 5 days. Value of a person's life is about 5 to 10 times their future lifetime earnings. Why? Because we spend 40 hours, right, at work. Every week we have about 268 hours, I believe. So you can take wages as a measure. However, you need to multiply it by 5 to 10. Keeler finds that average 20-year-old female will have future earnings of $582,000 in 2009 dollars net in the net present value, but the value of her life is about 3.685 million. Because why? You need to calculate the leisure time too. Men have slightly higher value in life because of higher earnings. Okay. Older people have lower value of life because they have fewer years of life remaining. To me, this is wrong because older people value a lot to me. However, if you just base your value of life on future earnings potential, but what about then homemakers, right? Stay-home dads. Let's talk about contingent valuation. So you can ask people what their lives are worth. I would say it's priceless because I love my life. The problem is, question is often framed in terms of changes in the probability of dying. Okay, so here's an example. How much more would you be willing to pay for an airline ticket with 1 in 500,000 chance of a crash compared to 2 in 500,000 chance of crash? So the improvement is from 1 to 2 in 500,000 chance. So it's 1 over 500. These chances are pretty slim. Both of them are this is the change, right? The improvement. These chances are pretty slim. I would be like, I don't think I would want to pay differently. So based on this contingent valuation, there's a wide range between almost $1 million to $26 million per life saved. So how do we calculate these kind of things? We are going to work on examples. So I have a couple of questions in the class I'm teaching. Revealed preference. This is also similar to the contingent valuation. You are directly asking people how much are you willing to pay. So if I say, oh, you know what? I'm willing to pay $50, right? So I'm willing to pay $50 for 1 in 500,000 chance reduction in death. I'm gonna put death like Japanese cartoons with they put like eyes like that. And how much is my life valued if this chance is 1, right? I am guaranteeing secure life. So you can write down this direct proportions. $50 paid for 1 in 500,000. What is the value of my life if the probability is to 0, reduction by 1, right? Probability 1 means for sure. Probability 0 means this event is not happening. So because this is direct proportions, so you can do x times multiply 1 over 500,000 chance equals to 50. So I can do this. X equals to my value of life based on this technique is 50 times 500,000. 500,000. So let's calculate my valuation of life. 5 times 5, 25. Add all these zeros. 1 here, 2, 3. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. 3 more. So I value my life. It turns out $25 million. So I am very close to the top of this line. Wow. I told you, I love my life. I am grateful for every day, but enough of positivity. We don't like too much positivity. I'm kidding. Let's talk about the revealed preference technique. So this examines how much individuals are willing to pay for something that reduces their odds of dying. But this comes from their behavior. You're not asking them, but you're literally watching them buy some services. So in 80s, I don't think we had airbags, folks. I grew up in 80s. I was a kid. They would just put us in the trunk cargo area of a station wagon car without any seat belts. In my country, especially no law. So airbags are newer. So back in the days, I believe in Turkey, in my country, you could purchase an airbag for, let's say, $350 that has a 1 in 10,000 chance of saving his life. So this is what we do. The implicit cost of valuation is $3.5 million. How do we do this? This is how we calculate it. Exactly like previously. I'm willing to pay $300 to reduce probability of death by 1 in 10,000. What's the full reduction in the probability of death? How do I value my life? Again, cross multiply. 350 equals x times divided by 10,000, right? X divided by 10,000 equals 350 times 1 is 350. So it's going to be, X is going to be equal to $3.5 million. Okay. So an alternative revealed preference approach examines risky jobs. This is what we studied in labor economics. And this is compensating wage differentials chapters. Suppose that one job has 1% higher risk of death, but pays $30,000 more in salary. So this is going to be that $30,000 extra salary is called a compensating differential. So implicit valuation with the same idea, 30,000 divided by 1%, right? That's going to be $3 million. All right. So there's a large literature in economics using the revealed preference approaches. Viscosi estimates that the value of life is about $8.7 million. There are some drawbacks, right? So we are making strong assumptions about the probabilities of death. It assumes that people are well prepared to evaluate these trade-offs. Difficult to control for other attributes of the job. There are differences in valuation of life based on degree of risk aversion. Somebody who loves risk, their life value will be smaller. We're talking about revealed preference drawbacks. Another approach, this is very interesting, so cutting all this off here. Another approach is how existing government spending translate into life saved could be used to calculate the value of life. So a recent study reviewed 76 regulatory government programs. The cost per saved life varied between $121,000 for child-proof cigarette lighters. So those child-proof lighters, you have to press something. I hate them. I'm trying to make some camp, fire. You have to press something and press the other button. My fingers hurt. But that kind of regulation actually is very cost-effective. You're saving lives. Each life is saved is costing government only $121,000. It's really, really cheap way to save lives versus $119 billion from regulation of solid waste disposal facilities. So this is government revealed preference, different regulation concerning different areas. You have years They were introduced in 90s, 80s, 70s, different government agencies. Childproof lighters came from CPSC. So cost per saved life in 2018 dollars is pretty low, right? $130,000. Food labeling, the cost of that per life saved is $520,000. So saving one more human life costs us only $520,000. So reflective devices for heavy trucks, that regulation, the cost of that regulation would be 1.24 million per saved life. Children's sleepwear flammability. Did you know that you cannot have certain materials, fabrics for children's pajamas? That cost us $3 million per life saved. Rear up shoulder seat belts in cars. Asbestos, look at that. Per life saved, the cost is about $7.65 million for asbestos regulation. And value of statistical life is around $9.93 million. This is a benzene regulation. Benzene is a byproduct of oil refining. Asbestos ban, $106 million. Maybe we're not, losing people to death, but also, let's say you have cancer because of asbestos. You didn't die, however, it just made you really sick. That's not accounted for. Solid waste disposal, cattle feed regulations. This is costing us $231 million. Let's talk about measuring future benefits. This is discounting future benefits. This is the same thing we use in the measuring future costs. This is again a thorny issue. Costs are almost immediate, right? Benefits are mostly long-term. For instance, in the case of preventing global warming, the cost is too big. We have to cut down production. But the benefits in the long run will be like a 1-2 degree lower temperatures. So this could be problematic because choice of discount rate matters a lot for benefits that are very far in the future. If you have a large discount rate, that means you care more about today, less about future, then the future benefits will be not valued too much. So benefits are always spread out over current and future generations as well. So here's the thing, society may be unwilling to or unable to value the benefits of a public project. So projects with unmeasurable benefits, plus, if they're desirable projects, you can do cost effectiveness analysis. So you can search for the most cost-effective approach to providing a public good, ignoring whether the benefits warrant such a public good. So this is one method, but in this chapter we are focusing on both benefits and the costs. Okay, so in the next part we're putting everything together, that we're finally finishing this up. I'll see you in part 5. Let me ask you something. You've been watching this video so far. I wish I could talk better. I'm getting tired. You've been watching this video so far. Why don't you hit the like button? Because when you do that, it tells YouTube algorithm to push it in front of other students so they can earn better grades in their public finance classes. I'm getting really tired. And also they can do better in classes. They can pass their classes, earn A's, and help other students. And 2, please subscribe to this channel because I'm starting very soon the labor market status short videos for that, and also city and state specific short videos. That's going to be really exciting. I'm working on them. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, folks.